I feel I'm pretty qualified to talk on negotiations because I've built 3 businesses, 3 multi-million-pound businesses in 3 countries. And basically, I've been studying and practicing my negotiation techniques for the last 25 years. I love to negotiate. Anybody else like negotiation in here? Yes. Good, because if you like it, you're going to be able to do it better. Negotiation is key to business success. You have to be able to communicate. You have to be able to persuade your customers and also your suppliers, right? You have to be able to influence. Negotiate's right there in the middle. You have to be able to present and develop, but that equals success, okay? There's really 4 things that can happen in a negotiation, right? There's 4 outcomes, and we're going to look at these clockwise. The first one is, I win, you lose, right? Smiley face for me, but long term, there's going to be ramifications for me. My clients are not going to work with me a long time if I always have them lose, right? And it's not going to be a sustainable business. There's also I lose, you lose. We both walk away upset or angry. Don't want that either, right? We want to avoid this at all costs. Then there's the I lose, you win. I'm not going to be a customer of yours very long if you always win, right? So again, not what we're looking for. What we're looking for in the techniques I'm showing you today is a win-win. And I firmly believe that if you can think about what's in it for your other counterpart and make it worth the time for them, then it'll be a more satisfying transaction or deal, but also be sustainable and long-term. So we're really looking at win-win here. Okay? So the other thing that's really important in negotiation is your communication and your communication style. And I'm sure some of you have seen these percentages before, but only 7% of what we say hits the other person. It's the 93% that is really impactful. So it's my voice tone. And it's also my body language, how I'm speaking to you. The words are 7%, but the other 93% is really the impact you're having, or I'm having on you as I speak to you. You need to remember this when you do your negotiations. When I do my negotiations for my company, I try to always do them in person, not on the phone. I had to fly to Germany back and forth to do my negotiations face-to-face in a conference room with my big landlord that I worked with when I went into Germany, right? That was really important. But if I have to work on the phone, I need to listen to my voice and what my body language is doing in the desk. If I'm slumping, they're going to know it, right? When I do sales training in Germany with our salespeople, I tell our salespeople on the phone, smile, because people can tell if you're smiling across the phone, right? So another thing to keep in mind as we go through these techniques is this type of communication and what message are you sending to the person that you're negotiating with. So let's get into some of the 6 top hows. And the first how for you on your list is going to be prepare, right? Prepare, prepare, prepare. If it's a really big deal, you need to prepare a lot. If it's a smaller deal, do some quick research, right? But you need to prepare. You need to know what your structure is going to be. You need to know what is the person on the other side of the table has at stake. You need to know what the background is, what their aims and goals are, what's important to them. So do as much preparation as possible. Then you need to practice and rehearse. Practice, practice, practice. When I was doing my multi-million-pound deal in Germany, I used to role play in my office with some of my shareholders and with also my CFO, my financial director. And I was sure to make sure that I planned things and that I did my research and that I practiced what I was going to say so it came out right, right? I did PowerPoints, I did Excel spreadsheets, I looked at all the possibilities, and I also made sure to match how many people they had versus how many people I had. So if there was 2 of them, I always brought 2 of me, right? You want to match. I always try to sit at the corners of the table, not across the table. So little things like that help, but practicing, rehearsing, and thinking everything through. What if they say this? What will I say? Okay? And these are for the big deals. The other thing you need to do is anticipate. Anticipate what their bottom line is. Anticipate what they have at stake. And the most important anticipate is to anticipate who else they have to sell on your deal to get it approved. Are you talking with the decision maker, or are they going to have to go sell it to a board? Are you talking with a partnership, and actually the other partner's the one that's really in control? So who do you have to actually help the person you're sitting across the table from sell to? And that's all about anticipation. The other thing that's quite important in negotiations is time. And I can be quite an impatient person. Anyone else in the room? Right? Right? So here, you need to never feel rushed. Because sometimes the person that stays at the table the longest wins. Right? And this is all kinds of examples. But if you're rushing, you don't have the time to haggle. And the perfect example of this is in all the markets. Marrakesh, if I go to a market there, even if I go to Borough Market, if you go into a market and you're kind of talking, the longer you're there, the more chance you have of getting a better deal, right? Simple attributes. So make sure you're not rushed, make sure you have enough time, and you put that in your preparation. Then the last step of the 6 is, are you ready? Are you ready to walk away? You sometimes have to be ready to walk away from a deal, and it either comes back or it doesn't. The easiest example of this is buying a car. Has anybody bought a car in here? Has anybody had to walk away from the guy, and then finally you come to agree to a price? Yes? Okay. So this is really important to see where else can you put this concept in your business. And you need to know what your walk-away point is. But if you don't get this, it's going to be break even, and why do it? Or if you don't get this, it's going to lose you money, more importantly, and why do it? So here's the 6 how-tos, right? I'd also like to talk to you about some techniques. And techniques are different things that you can do in a negotiation. And I was just talking before the break with Jess, right? She's in the crowd somewhere. Where is she? Here she is. And we were talking about opening at our maximum. And she was like, oh, do you think I really can get more than 19 pounds? We were talking about pricing. I said, yes. You have to open at your maximum and be willing to go down. You can never go up. You can't say, okay, I'll sell it for 20, and then they say something else. You say, oh, now I want 25. Right? It doesn't work. Right? So go in high, go into your maximum. But the caveat to this is make sure that you can logically argue it. Size, number of uses is what we were talking about, right? So make sure that you can actually logically argue why it is that price. Next technique, and I have to struggle sometimes to use this myself, but I do it, is once you deliver what you're going to say, be quiet, shut up, don't say anything. With your body language, don't say anything, and with your voice. Because we can send signals to somebody, right, even if we're not saying anything in a negotiation, okay? Next technique. The other thing is you can figure out how to offer a better term, maybe cash payment or payment up front, or give them terms. And if they don't pay the terms and they're late, then you charge them an admin fee because it's going to cost you more money to chase them if they don't pay you on time. Next technique is don't give something without getting something in return, right? So this is seen as kind of a little bit of a point of weakness if they ask you for something and you don't ask for anything back. So you need to have your list and your preparation. Make sure a list of all the small things that actually you could give them if they need to, or if you want to ask them for something, what can you give them in return? So it is that give-get, right? And it's that win-win mentality. Next one is think about something that's valuable to you but doesn't cost the person you're negotiating with a lot. Reverse it. What's not that expensive for you? What can you give others that's going to be of value, that's seen as a good value? Okay? Next technique is about closing. And closing is really important because in your preparation you need to figure out how long does a person need to buy into whatever you're selling. Is it a long sales cycle like my 9 months, or is it a short sales cycle? What objections do you have to overcome to be able to get that person to say yes and to buy? Right? So you need to figure all that out. And for me, a technique that I always uses is I always keep something back, something in my back pocket that I can actually offer to get the close across the line. Sometimes it's time, sometimes it's an extra incentive or value, but what is it that you can give that will get them to close? So I hope that today you learned a couple of techniques that will help you in your business, and maybe you try one on the next negotiation, a different one on the next one. But I hope it's some practical things that are going to change the way you actually negotiate and actually change the end result. And with that, I just want to say thank you for being a great audience. Really appreciate it.